It has now been nearly 3 months since we installed our solar setup.
Working great.
Hooray! In this video, we're going to walk you through the entire setup. We installed 3 arrays for our system.
These are Sinclair Skyrack 2.0 season adjustable ground mounts. These have the ability to pound them into the ground instead of using concrete, but that didn't work. Not for us anyway. So we augured 2 foot by, I think it was 6 foot deep holes and set them in concrete.
And these are pretty strong, so they should withstand what level of wind force?
It's 125 mile an hour winds.
I hope we never put that to the test.
We've had some gusts as of late. So
not nearly that bad, and I hope it stays that way. Each one of these arrays holds 14 solar panels. So give me the 411 on these panels.
They are Aptos Bifacial 440 watt solar panels that we got from Signature Solar. Potential output is 18,500 watts, not including the bifacial aspect.
That's a lot of power.
Hope so.
For more details on these panels and lots of other solar products, check out Signature Solar. You can use our affiliate link that's in the show notes below. We would appreciate it. On to the wiring.
We'll start at array number 3. Each array is set up in a 7 in series by 2 parallel configuration. The start is at the box, comes to the end, and then a long line goes all the way back down to the box. But a astute viewer gave us a better configuration. What he suggested was you go from panel number 1, this reaches over to panel number 3, that reaches over to panel number 5, and then that one reaches over to number 7, and then they daisy chain on back. That's much more efficient.
Clever, and I think we might someday change ours to do that.
We will. I just haven't had the time.
It's on the list.
So thank you. All of the lines from the solar come into the weatherhead, down into here, and then up to the DC disconnect, the IMO. The positives come into here. This combines them. So it takes, this is array number 1, this is array number 2. This little jumper combines them. And then one line goes into the lightning surge protection. And then the other line goes into the fuse. And the same thing happens here on the DC end. They get combined and go on through and then down the chute into the ground, into the conduit that goes over to array number 2. As for grounding, this tap bonds the ground that we have going into an actual ground rod.
So that's array number 3, and there's our conduit underground running this way. And what is this white PVC?
That's the ground rod. You need access to it to show the inspector that it's bonded and all that kind of fun.
And that conduit then leads up to array number 2.
Array number 2 is configured identical to 3. It's also configured identical to number 1. The only difference here is that this is the incoming line from number 3. Gets kind of coiled up and joins the line for number 2. So that's all of these boys and girls.
There's array number 2, and again the trench and conduit continues all the way up to another ground rod and then up to array number 1. And you can see we still have some work to do to fix these trenches.
We have a lot of work to do in a lot of places. Array number 1, identical to 2 and 3.
So now there are 6 lines then heading up to the garage.
Correct.
The conduit from those 3 arrays comes all the way up here. And here's where it exits the ground and heads to our garage.
IMO for all 3 arrays. This is a code-compliant DC disconnect for solar. And by code, you got to have one on the outside of the building.
And then these wires head up and into the building. Before heading inside to show you the setup in there, I thought I would show you our backup power plan.
This is a Westinghouse 20 kilowatt portable generator.
For all the details on how we installed it, you could just check out the video on that subject. And hopefully our solar setup will be so good that we're never going to have to use it.
It's a hope, but you got to have a backup.
All right, let's go inside and see the rest of the setup. We are now inside our garage.
Nice and toasty, thanks to our solar-powered mini split.
Side note, but there it is, humming along.
That's the line coming in from the outside, where the DC disconnect is. And it goes over, this is our generator stuff, and
Affectionately called the octopus.
yes, grounds, bonding the building, and then everything heads up and over the ceiling over to the Sol-Ark area.
This is the end of the conduit, and from there, where does it head?
So the solar lines actually come down and around, and they go into the Sol-Ark MPPT's controllers.
What exactly is the Sol-Ark and what does it do?
It's an all-in-one inverter, charge controller. It does everything that you could need.
So it takes the power from the arrays, the DC power, and it makes it usable?
Yes.
Okay.
So all those, here's our 6 lines for the solar. They come in to the solar charge controllers. This is all of your AC side. So if we wanted to either put in a bigger generator or shore power, that line would go into here. And then from there, this converts all of your solar into power. Goes down to the battery leads, which is this guy, which then these guys go to the bus bars, which then all connect to all 18 batteries.
Ooh, let's talk about these batteries.
These are EG4 LL batteries. We have, I think, 3 different versions now, all of which we got from Signature Solar. These are 5.12 kilowatt hour batteries, and they are 48 volt server rack batteries, basically.
How much storage capacity then do these batteries have?
We have a little bit more than 90 kilowatt hours of battery, which I believe an average house uses about 30 kilowatts a day. This should be able to float us on the significantly overcast days.
It'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
These batteries sit on a DeWalt rack. Tell me about that.
So this was pretty much perfectly spaced for what we needed. I think it supports 6,000 pounds or something like that in total. Each of these batteries is 100 pounds, so there's actually a significant amount of weight on this puppy. This is definitely enough to support what we need.
We had some interesting comments come in from a video where we were talking about these batteries, suggesting that we need to come up with a better way to secure this rack because of earthquakes and stuff. And I think they're right.
I totally agree. I want to get these to be in a server rack going up instead of out. I found some people that actually have made them out of Unistrut. So that's a future Trippy project.
For now, it's staying put.
Yes.
I do see a couple of more gizmos over here, so let's start with these.
These are the EG4 Chargeverters. Our generator is actually plugged into each one of these individually.
That is via that gray conduit.
The flexible conduit, yes. So each of these is capable of outputting 100 amps of 48 volt power. We can probably get ourselves back up and running in about 2 hours.
It's good to have a backup plan.
Necessary.
It's also good to have a little bit more protection. So what's that?
These are all the EMP Shield devices that protect the batteries and the solar charge controllers, and they protect from lightning as well as EMPs as well as coronal mass ejections.
We have an affiliate link to EMP Shield. If you want to get more information, we would also appreciate if you'd use that link, which we will also put in the show notes below. Before heading out to the final destination, I do feel the need to mention that these wires are looking pretty messy. So that is also on our to-do list, right?
None of this is in its final form.
We've got some tidying up to do.
Well, we may be getting another Sol-Ark. There's a lot of rework that needs to be done, so it didn't make sense to go hog wild. Plus, I don't like this either. I want to put this into a true protected box, and we have work to do.
Okay, let's move on to the final destination. The AC power then makes its way to our breaker box. And from there, it's pretty standard, nothing special.
Well, this breaker box is also protected by EMP Shield, so I'd call that special.
I stand corrected. That solar walkthrough is going to eventually power our dome home. We also have a solar setup down by the barn. That original solar setup has been in use for what, about 5 years?
A little over.
Let's go show them that one.
The barn solar consists of 2 arrays, 12 panels here and 12 panels on top of the shipping container. This array is on a season adjustable ground mount that is from MT Solar. I've been very pleased with this guy. It's been struck by at least 90-mile-an-hour winds. And still standing, so props. The other 12 panels that are on top of the shipping container are not adjustable. They are horizontal.
How much power do these produce?
All in total, a little over 7,700 watts.
Which has been sufficient-ish.
It's worked.
For very conservative living.
Yes.
And generator use.
A little bit of generator time.
This system is a little less fancy than the one up at the house.
Yeah, it's about a third the power as our Sol-Ark, but it's been sufficient for down here. This is a Schneider Conext SW powered by 8 Simpliphi batteries that are inside of this insulated box that we built. Lithium needs insulation from freezing. A while ago, we lost 2 charge controllers that were originally with the Schneider. So
those were the Midnight Classics.
Yes. So I replaced one with a Victron Energy Smart Solar Charge Controller that we also got from Signature Solar. Because these 2 aren't talking, the Midnight Classic thinks that it's at 56 volts when it's not. So it goes to float while this one continues to charge. They finally, eventually, if we've got enough sun in the day, it will get to true 56 volts, but this setup is not ideal and needs to be corrected. So.
I'm sensing another purchase from Signature Solar.
That is correct.
If you want any details, check them out at Signature Solar. We've got the links to those products and just our general link in the show notes below. So that is the state of Trippy Electric.
Nink. Not incorporated.
Stay tuned while he has fun with his charge controllers while I go plant some wildflowers. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, we'd really appreciate it if you would take a second and subscribe to our channel. Thanks. And until next time, like our farm sign says, just keep growing.